just a little more, 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 just a little. Recording. Hey everybody, and welcome to Just a Little More. Now this is the show that is dedicated to getting just a little bit more understanding, a little bit more tea, because you know I love tea, and a whole lot of love. This is Jonathan, and I am so excited to be here with some artist friends. They are all here. One is in a car, as y'all see. One is in a car, but he is here. We are all here. We are all here. And you guys are going to get a chance to meet them and see about what they're doing. Tonight's show is talking about being an artist during quarantine, doing Corona-isha. Listen, I'm an artist. I teach theater. You know, luckily I was in the school system, so it was a little bit steady like I thought. And then Corona-isha came and slapped me in my face and threw me down. And I was not ready. I was not ready for what she had to offer. And so I know a lot of my artist friends are feeling the same way. I know that other artists out there, you are feeling what I'm feeling. So I hope this show can let you have some time to express those feelings and thoughts. And I hope that you see yourself and some of these other amazing artists that we have here today. I hope you got your cocktail. Hope you got your cocktail. Grab your cocktail. It's going to be a great conversation. And we'll get started. I want you to meet them. Anybody can go first. Anybody can go first. Edwin, you want to go first?
Okay. So I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm a costume technician. By day, I work in a Broadway costume shop. We do stuff for television, film, Broadway, cruise ships, theme parks, you name it. And then on the side, I do on-set tailoring and private client work and work in other shops for other theaters. Anybody who wants to throw me money.
You want to throw it?
Yeah.
Edwin, now listen, Edwin is a beast, and Edwin has got me a lot of jobs. So Edwin, I thank you. As an artist who's not working, up a lot. So I love you, and you're amazing. Okay, who next? Nina, hey.
My name is Nina Yarbrough, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I live in Seattle, Washington, and I am the lead fundraiser for my organization. So I work for one of the few Black arts and cultural organizations in Seattle. We are small and mighty, but we support and uplift Black artists. And our motto is Blackness is not a monolith. So that means it's the entire spectrum and depth of what Blackness means. My artistic side, I am a writer, a poet, playwright, getting back into my crafting. I just bought a new sewing machine. So Edwin mine from college still works, but she needed a new one. So she got herself a new machine. And that's, been in Seattle for 6 years. And I'm going to pass it, which is something to help. We do that in Zoom. So just pick the next person. I'm going to throw over to Miss Tamara.
Hey, I am Tamara Jackson Morris. I am in Jersey. I'm an actress. I'm also a fitness instructor and Pilates instructor in New York at Shay's Fitness. My story, I'm really excited to start talking about is I just had a baby. So I have a very unique perspective about being an artist and a first-time mom during COVID and during this crisis. And a wife, yes. All right, so let's throw it to Sed.
I'm sorry, Tamara. Wait a minute. Sed, don't be interrupting her during her time.
I apologize.
And a wife.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, I know that.
We got to make sure everybody know you take it. We got to make sure they know.
Okay, actually, let's let him go.
I don't know if I like that language.
Go ahead and say what you need to say. Go ahead and say your introduction, Mr. Crawford.
My name is Darian Crawford. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama. What I do, I work for UPS while the sun is up. I'm a senior account executive for them. I manage UPS accounts that range from $300,000 to my largest account is about $15 million. So a lot of lot of money does not pass through my hands, but I get to say I work with them. And by night, I guess I would say I have a theater. My wife and I have a theater in Jacksonville. So
You own it.
that's it. Okay, stop.
You own the theater.
Yes, yes.
Would that be called an artistic director? Or
I think that's more like my wife is probably the artist. I'm just like a minion. Like I'm like a stagehand. Like I just gotta come and go. I'm telling you, Edwin.
He bought and
Okay,
purchased
we'll talk
his
later.
own theater. It's his own. He purchased, bought, owns his own theater.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It's amazing.
It's ours.
That's
It's
what's
ours.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass it to my son, Mr. Roebuck.
Thank you, Pop. Hello, everyone. I am DeAntoine Roper. I'm from a small town in Florida called Avon Park. Got my BA at the amazing Florida A&M University, as you can see the Rattlers back there in the background on Aaron's screen. And my master's at SCAD. But no, I live here in New York. I've been here for the past 7 years. I am a director of the after-school program of arts and athletics. So I deal with artists who work for our organization, teaching dance and different music and theater and things like that. So that will be my point of view on how we have been operating during Corona and how we had to adjust. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to pass it to my BFF, Aaron McKinney.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. I am Aaron McKinney, originally from Greenville, South Carolina, but now hailing from Brooklyn, New York. And I am the general manager of High Arts, which is formerly the Hip Hop Theater Festival. We are an organization dedicated to the development and the work of urban and hip hop culture. We've been in existence this year for 20 years, which is wonderful for a Black organization.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I received my BA in theater from, of course, the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, founded October 3rd, 1887. And my MFA in theater management and producing from California Institute of the Arts. So by day, I am a general manager, company manager, theater manager. It's a Black organization, so that means I have to do a lot of work. And by night, I'm a theater manager, general manager, because it never ends. And also, I'm an amateur flower arranger and a florist. And
That's dope.
and I also have a guided meditation on YouTube that we can put a link up to later.
Oh. Well, y'all sound so fancy. Like I just need. Can you give me a job? Listen, this is a rough time for artists everywhere. So I'm like, please, if y'all have job links, send them to me. But that goes right into our first point. How has life been since Corona Isha came and said, "Listen, I'm here. I'm closing down everything. No, we're not doing live theater. It is not. The doors are closed." And like everybody, some people are still not going. You know, like our governor opened up everything because, you know, he don't care nothing about people and human life. So he just said, go ahead. You can die. It's fine. We'll see who first died first, and then we'll let the rest of people come out later. But, you know, some people are still not, some states who are smarter have not opened up, and they're still, you know, doing it slowly and in processes. So I want to know, how has life been for you as an artist? Have your gigs canceled? Have you been able to work? What has it been like? What has it been like?
Well,
I'll start. Oh, okay.
You go for it, boo.
Okay.
So I'll start from the organizational perspective. For us, it has this whole working from home. I feel like I have worked more from home than I did if I were in the office. Only because we've had to restructure, we've had to rethink how we activate our mission. So the work that we do is really helping artists develop their work. So we work in the development phase. I don't really care. I do care about finished product, but I also care about giving artists of color, especially Black artists, room to explore, room to, and we pay them during these development phases to make sure that they can play, so they can explore.
Say that again.
They can really,
now? You pay?
we pay artists to develop their work. See, which is a rarity. That's that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
but
You're right.
for us,
You're right.
but for us, because we can't be in a physical space, we've had to have conversations with artists. We've had to, like I said, rethink our mission, rethink our vision, and rethink our programming and how we deliver that programming. So we launched a virtual residency program that we're piloting right now, where an artist, because of the way that they are developing their work, they were able to bring artists from around the country, or actually around the globe, because we also have somebody that's participating from Ghana, to help develop this work. So for this particular artist, it has helped her in her development phase, because she would not be able to afford to get all these people into one room if we were in person. But because she's using, a virtual residency model, she's able to have more people in the room, more minds in the room, and more of the people that she wanted in the room. But yeah, so for us, it's been, I feel like I've worked more, just because we've had to do a lot of strategizing. It's been less delivering art, but more strategizing on how to deliver art moving forward, because there's going to be a new normal. And so we're trying to figure out, how do we continue to activate our mission in this new normal.
Tamara, how has it been for you?
Oh,
Tamara, do you hear
For
me?
me personally?
No, Tamara.
Oh, you.
So,
Oh, okay.
pass the message to
I
Tamara.
couldn't hear you. Yeah, so it's been interesting. So I had a baby literally maybe 2.5 weeks before New York completely shut down. So I was planning on being out of work, for a few weeks. But then when COVID hit, I really started stressing out, because I'm like, okay, well, I already planned on being away for a little bit. And I was like, okay, I don't know when I'm gonna get another gig, because, I think New York is kind of in, I think, phase 2 of reopening. I mean, but as far as artists, you have to think about it. Being an artist is a very collaborative and intimate profession. So I don't know how we're going to move forward after this, because we can say, okay, the pandemic is over, but is it really over? We have no idea. This is completely new for all of us. We don't know what's going to happen. I will say that it definitely has inspired me to really focus on creating my own work, which was already the plan. But now I'm like, okay, I really need to get things done. I can't depend on somebody else, to call me up and say, hey, I got a part for you. Now I need to create that for myself now.
That's real.
Yeah, that's real.
Okay. Come on, because you had did like this, you had raised your hand.
So as I mentioned, I'm the director of the after school program. So we hire artists for our students, and we've had to, like Erin said, redevelop our program and restructure, because they can't be with the students. So we've been doing a lot of instructional videos and Zoom classes for the students to participate in, which is also giving the artists a way to receive compensation during these times, because we're not really working. A lot of the artists are receiving unemployment. So one thing that my job is also doing is deferring those payments until September, so they can still receive the unemployment that they wouldn't interfere with. So that's
cool.
the thing
really cool.
that we're trying to do with them too, to keep them working. But like Tamara and Erin said, we've had to redevelop, because we're not in that space with them. So just giving the artists opportunity to create work and videos, just to keep them creative and thinking while they're at home too. But it's also, it's a tough time, because although we're giving them the opportunities to create these videos, we also have to think about their mental state, and some of them are not up to it, and they're in it one week, and then some week they're not. They're like, Antoine, I'm just not there. I just can't produce, or I don't want to do a class this week. So it's kind of up and down. So we've just been dealing with that, and just trying to figure out ways to keep the artists that we have on our staff employed, and give them some kind of means of compensation during this time.
Edwin, because you had raised your hand next. Edwin.
But no, I actually had a question for Erin specifically, and I guess maybe Antoine. With the changes that are happening with your organization, do you see any of those changes becoming a normalcy for your companies as you move forward, especially Aaron, the way that you're able to now bring in people from all over the world with these residencies? Do you see that as something that, oh, you know what, this actually is a great thing, let's keep this even after all this is over?
Absolutely. And that's, so the artist that we're working with now, she's our pilot for this, we're calling it Skylab, for this virtual residency. So we have two main residencies. We call it the Critical Breaks residency, which is artists who are at that critical break. They just need some resources, maybe institutional support to take their art to the next level, to take their work to the next level. And then Scratch Lab is really scratching the surface. So an artist may have an idea and they are just trying to, they just need space and time to kind of explore, to figure out if this idea can even work. And so those are right now our two main residencies. So we're adding this Skylab, which is a virtual residency, along with the other two residencies that we have. So yes, this is definitely something that we plan to keep moving forward. Just trying to figure out how to do it and what artists, because it's not going to be for everybody. Like every artist is not going to be able to take advantage of a virtual residency, but what artists would be ideal for this type of residency? And then also, how do we change our existing residencies, because there are going to be new rules, there are going to be ways that we have to change how back to a live theater normal, but I think it's going to take at least a year before that happens. But in the meantime, how what precautions or what different parameters will we set for us to resume those residencies sometime? Actually, right now we're looking at not resuming until January.
Yes, Edwin, to piggyback off Aaron, we didn't notice how much we can use technology with like Zoom and all of these things, and how we can get people in one area at one time. So a lot of the things that we did notice, like with our instructional videos and our one-on-one lessons, because we do offer piano lessons for the students. So we realized that we can do it at any time. We can do it on the weekends if the kids aren't necessarily coming after school on certain days. We can still offer these services to the parents and still offer lessons and still provide activities for the students to do while they're at home. And also, just to keep them engaged, we also do musical theater in our program as well. So we can have additional rehearsals if on the weekends to have all the students log in. So we did notice that there are different ways we can use it that we didn't think about before. So we will continue to try to advance on it and keep it going throughout the school year.
I know, Ellie, you had your questions, but how has it been for you? I mean, you're a costumer. You're mostly working with live shows. How's that been? I know.
This is awful. Girl, listen, the way that costumes work, especially ours, is very much a sort of an assembly line type of work. You have your draper, then you have your first hands, then you have your machiners, and then you have your hand finishers, and then you have the people that have to come in for fittings, since you have to be close to them. So we have been shut down, done dead since mid-March, and so have most of the other shops. There have been some work happening here and there, but all of the film productions have stopped, all the TV filming has stopped. There is talk of, first off, how do you now film large scenes? That's a whole other thing. How do you put on a Broadway show with people close to each other, which then needs our clothes? I mean, it's just kind of, okay. So I've been out of work since mid-March. Nothing's been happening. There's been nothing but a lot of talk about how to move forward when we finally
move forward.
Yeah, if we ever move forward. I think shops are in phase 4, and we just did phase 1. I don't even know when phase 2 is. I don't even know the deadlines or the timelines or anything, quite honestly. But yeah, I'm just hanging out, hoping and waiting and bored to tears, because this sucks.
It's real. Like that is very real. What about you, Nina? Because you are I want to make sure I say your position right, because you're a boss, so I don't want to say nothing that's less than a boss. What's your position again, and how y'all been managing? Because
So my title is Business Development Manager, and all that means is like.
Say that again. Say that one more time, because I felt money. I just felt.
business development manager.
Yay!
And it's so I came out to Seattle for my MFA at Seattle U in arts leadership, because back in Cincinnati, I was working at a museum center. I was making like $9 an hour, and there was no way to go up. Like, all the Black people were in food service, and then there was me who got a museum position, like maybe 2 or 3 other people in 3 museums. So it was like my move to Seattle was my step up to prosperity. And so being here, it's a very progressive state in Washington State. So when everything kind of hit, we are fortunate that Governor Inslee, he was listening to public health officials and being very proactive. And I also so my organization, we are housed in a city-owned facility. And so the city of Seattle was pretty proactive early on about shutting stuff down. But I worked for a very smart lady who was like, no, we're going remote like ASAP. And so we had to cancel our fundraiser. We had to postpone live events. And our whole job is to employ artists. So much like Erin's organization, we work with artists in the development process. We also work with artists in a co-producing model. We mentor them, provide resources. I was fortunate to work with one of our artists on her first county grant that she got for her show last year, which was really great. And that I got to kind of manage that process with her. So from an organizational standpoint, we've been fortunate because of very smart decisions we've been making. We've been pretty financially stable. And I've been able to there's a lot of money in Seattle, and my boss was only employee for 7 years. So a Black woman trying to lead it, do it all. I was her first hire, and I left Seattle Opera. So before this, I was working in one of the whitest, largest organizations. I led the fundraising campaign for the new building, and I was done. So coming to an organization where it was about uplifting and supporting Black people, I was just like, yes. And then Miss Rona hit.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of uncertainty, not necessarily within the staff, because we've been making really smart financial decisions, and actually we're at a point of growth. So the staff and our contractors, we've actually been growing our staff, because much like, again, Erin's organization and Antoine's, we've had to shift. And we were already in that process, but things got accelerated. Yeah. So we have something called CD Forum TV, where we're taking all this great content and we want to make it accessible. So that was on maybe a 1-year, 2-year track. And it's no, we now have a person in a position who's in charge of that. We use a technician to handle all of our behind the scenes things. We're all shifting, which is what you have to do. And it's scary. And me personally, it was bad. I was in probably a really deep state of depression. And I was so lucky that before this, I found a therapist, and she's a Black woman. She is a theologian. And I don't think I could have gotten to this place where I've and it's only been recently that I've kind of come out of my own personal kind of funk. Mm-hmm. And also we're in this third wave civil rights movement right now too. So it feels like I was getting recharged to be ready for what's happening. So it's I'm good with Corona. I'm keeping myself safe. My roommate has been being safe. I go on my little walks. Me and Rona, we good. That's, we understand each other.
We see each other.
Right. We're connected. Uh-huh. It's all the other stuff now where I have to now kind of get connected with my artistry again and figure out how I show up in this moment. And so it's both been this devastation globally, but also I genuinely feel I don't call it whatever you want, but I feel the universe has heard us crying out for a stop. And there is nothing that could have made the planet stop the way that this virus has, because we've had wars, we have had natural disasters, we have had the killing of not only mass groups of people, but the devastation of Black bodies, and it hadn't worked. Yeah. Nothing has worked to stop us, to get us to look in the mirror, which is where that work stops. And I definitely felt it for myself. So it's nobody would ever want this to happen, but if it was gonna happen, some deep self-work has been happening with on a large scale. So bought a sewing machine again. She's about to be like stitching stuff up. So like I'm in a good place, and I've been fortunate to keep my job and like use my resources to support other people. So like it's this weird kind of survivor's guilt a little bit, but she's like letting that go, but resting in like my platform of like, okay, how do I use my assets and privilege to uplift other people at this point? And how do I do that for myself? So like, yeah, me and Rona, like we weren't on speaking terms, but I get what she's doing. And like, I'm in a better headspace.
I like that. So Cedarian, because he in the car. I gotta, in the car.
I'm sorry.
I hope your AC on.
How has it been for you? Because I just want to make sure that this is real. He is a whole black person, because I love this, people of color coming together again. But he a whole black person, right? And he bought him and his beautiful wife and his new baby. Listen, they all together did it. They own a theater. They own it. It's his.
They all together did it.
It's like they own it. And so I want to know, because literally I was coming to Once on This Island in March. I had got my car ready. Listen, we getting there. And literally Rona said, "No, you're not, girl.
Oh, you're not.
Get back in your home." And so how has it been for you? How's it been for you?
It's been tough, man. I'll be honest. I feel like I should be transparent in these moments. It was really difficult for me to stop rehearsal. I did not stop rehearsal when they said stop rehearsal. I kept rehearsing. And part of that, honestly, is because one, you look at your artists and they're working hard, and they're working hard, and they want to see it come to fruition. The other part is because when you stop rehearsal, your dream has now come to a screeching halt, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so I eventually had to make the call. I had some people like Nina telling me, make sure you need to close, you're risking people's health. And from a very, very selfish place, I didn't want to, because, we sit in these classes in college, man, and you put these business classes together, and, and they ask you what you want to do with your life, and you present this theater, and then 20 years later, 15, 16 years later, it's here, and then now it's gone. Like it all stopped. So it's been tough, man. We've had to close the doors. We had to close the doors because of Corona, but we also ran into a situation with the city where they gave us our business license and then told us they wanted to take it back. And we was like, wait, but y'all gave it to us. Hey, your city manager's signature is right here on the paper.
Yeah.
What do you mean? But then Corona happened, and they were like, well, we're not going to take it because you can't do that anyway. So it's been a challenge, man. I still get phone calls from some of the cast because, we postponed it, and, a lot of you are in New York, and I, for one, like to take my cues from Broadway. And I saw that they've shut down their season, until next year. Like, a lot of theaters are not opening until next year. And I knew when I saw that when the powers that be make those kind of decisions, you be in the wrong place to not go with the powers that be. You're siding with the wrong side. So that's what we did. And people still call about when are we picking up rehearsal, and we have to have those tough conversations about we just don't know. We just don't know. We are the only Black theater in Orange Park, which is a very affluent area, and we had to stop. And the landlord was, he was gracious for a while, and then he stopped being gracious, because the thing about it is, from the business owner side is very different from the artist side. Because he has bills to pay. He's got things, and so and we have to be conscious of that. And we don't want to be, but we got to be conscious of that. And operating for us, like our theater seats 100 people. For us to operate at 50% does not pay the bill to be in the theater, because you only got 100 seats. So now you're telling me if we run a 6-show season, we only got 50 people in there, you can't charge $65 a ticket. So you're charging $25, $30 a ticket. The math just don't add up. Even if you did 50 seats every night, the math just doesn't make sense. So it's been tough to kind of to wait it out, man. It's been tough. It's been difficult. But I'm not gonna lie. That with this time that I'm having to spend, I've been doing a lot of writing. You know, from a family perspective, I've been able to really see the challenges that my wife has with our 1-year-old. Because now I'm at home and I'm like, hey, she be doing this every day. Like she be tearing stuff up all the time. Like because generally when I get home from rehearsal, everybody in the bed. I mean, it looked like a hurricane went through the house when I get home, but now I know.
I've seen
like,
it.
like, I ain't never seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm literally watching this hurricane and I'm like, whatever. Yes, you're not gonna stop it. You just don't. So it's been good from that aspect. But just like the rest of y'all, man, I'm starving. I'm starving to get back into doing an artist's work. You know. So well.
I mean, this is like I was saying, and I know like what I was kind of connecting with Nina. So you have kind of like a survivor's kind of guilt because, you know, I've been able to still work, you know, and still be able to, you know, pay my bills. And he's just like, I know other artists who are not being able to do that. But then also in the mix of Rona, and you just like, God, Lord, it's, you know, Rona, we dealing with Rona. It's a whole civil rights movement where people are being murdered, you know, and killed. And we just had this in Atlanta where somebody was murdered this past weekend. And I for me as an artist, it's like, God, Lord, you know, this is where, you know, I need to be doing something. I need to be out here, you know. I mean, I went to a protest, but I want to use my art to do that. So I guess I have that question for you guys. What do you think is an artist's place right now in the midst of, you know, Corona Isha? Is she a fool? And then you have the people being killed. I ain't gonna say white folks because they looking at the show too, but white folks who are fooled up, racist white folks who are murdering people, and you know, in the civil rights movement and protests. And what is an artist's place? Because it's tough. It is a tough place to be in.
Just a little more, just a little more, just a little more,